Welcome back to my Omen Analysis channel, an analysis channel where I talk about whatever I want and pass it off as Omen Analysis content. Make sure you follow my personal Twitter for my own opinions and funny tweets on the daily. Today on Omen Analysis and Omenology series, we have decided to use the results of the poll on our Twitter page to create a topic of the video we are discussing, although by the title you already know exactly what we're going to be talking about today. In one of our most recent Twitter polls, we asked you guys out of 4 ideas for our next videos of the content upcoming, which video would you prefer to see more? And the majority was for Avatar The Last Airbender / Legend of Korra analysis video. With that being said, we weren't sure what exactly to analyze in the show, so we decided to use one of our old pieces as inspiration for this video. Today, we will be addressing the animated excellence that is Avatar The Last Airbender and why the massive strong female representation in the show is so important. Avatar The Last Airbender is an American animation series that premiered in Reno Nickelodeon from February 2005 to July 2008. The show is almost 2 decades old, however, on May 15, 2020, Netflix added the show to its platform, thus creating more discourse around the show and bringing these prominent episodes back to public awareness. The show remains in the top 10 most watched television shows on Netflix currently. Avatar The Last Airbender has been praised for its talk of political and social issues, including concepts rarely touched on in youth entertainment such as war, genocide, imperialism, colonialism, totalitarianism, and free choice. Quick disclaimer, if you have never watched Avatar The Last Airbender, stop watching this video! Of course, you could totally watch it right now to contribute to my views and likes, which you should totally already do. However, by the time this video comes out, both Avatar The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra have already been put on Netflix for all of you to watch. So, I don't really want to spoil your experience, but if you haven't seen the series, don't watch this video. Make sure you watch the series on Netflix first. Then once you're done, come back to my channel so you can understand what I'm truly talking about and getting back to. The series is centered around the journey of 12-year-old Aang, the current Avatar, as the last survivor of his nation, the Air Nomads, along with his friends Sokka, Katara, and later on Toph Beifong. They strive to end the Fire Nation's war against the other nations of the world. It also follows the story of Zuko, the exiled prince of the Fire Nation, seeking to restore his lost honor by capturing Aang, accompanied by his wise uncle Iroh, and later that of his ambitious sister, Azula. There are multiple points within the story that keep the audience interested. One of the most interesting points of the story being the character arc of the villain Zuko. The story of Zuko and his place in the Fire Nation is arguably one of the most interesting plots in the story. It's essentially the story of a young lost boy who ends up changing the course of his life as he grows from villain to sympathetic and unapologetic hero of the story. He even has to go against his family's own beliefs and views to stick up for what is right. The focus and emphasis that I really want to put on the story, however, is how well written the female protagonists and antagonists of the show are. I highlighted this in my Hunger Games review video, where I stated that we often don't see many female characters have agency over their own bodies or strength and confidence within themselves without highly being discouraged or put down. Yet, Avatar The Last Airbender puts these important characteristics into the women of the show long before it was the popular and mainstream thing to do. I highlighted this in my Hunger Games review as well. Each female character has a different quality that allows them to be great in their own right. Katara in this series has some of the best character development on the show. Katara started out as a weak waterbender who could not quite grasp the concept of waterbending, but in the show, she never gives up on herself. She becomes more confident in her skills as the series continues on, eventually mastering healing as well as bloodbending. As the seasons progressed though, Katara became a master and eventually fought off one of the greatest villains in the series. The writers do not only give great backstory to their female characters, but they allow them to be great in their own right. Many of the girls are stronger than the guy characters and participate in a lot of hand-to-hand combat on the show. The strongest villain in the series alone is a woman. It is very rare that women are often given space to express their emotions and be strong without receiving unnecessary labels like cocky or overbearing. The women of the Avatar Last Airbender universe were given extremely complex characteristics that would only serve them in the long run. Take the story of Toph Beifong. Toph Beifong is a blind 12-year-old girl who is also an earthbender. Introduced to the ATLA audience in season 2, Toph Beifong is a blind earthbender, and she uses seismic senses in her feet to see the world around her and sense those who may try to attack her. Toph represents the ability of everyone within the show, at least in my opinion. You can have power regardless of the limits you may endure. These limits can be the physical ways, like the blindness that Toph has, or even the emotional ways, like the mental disorders that Azula has. Azula is introduced in season 2 as one of the main antagonists of Team Avatar. As early as 5 years old, Azula always wanted power. She always wanted the title of Fire Lord after her dad. Azula felt she deserved this role because she was a firebending prodigy. Her brother Zuko, however, was the firstborn, so naturally he was groomed to be Fire Lord. It also didn't help that he was a guy as well. Azula and her mother always had a horrible relationship, and as a result, Azula struggled with symptoms of paranoia and schizophrenia. Nevertheless, this didn't take away from her power. She used these feelings to fuel her anger, which makes her arguably the strongest antagonist in the show. Other incredible female characters of the show include Mai and Ty Lee, who are the best friends of Azula that assist her in very dangerous tasks during the show, and Zuki, who is a Kyoshi warrior but eventually falls in love with Sokka. The show itself gives these women their own arcs outside of who they are friends with or whoever they may fall in love with, and I think that's quite interesting because in a lot of shows, at least in the past, you would often see specific characters or specific character arcs couldn't exist without them being attached to a guy or them being the lover of or being the wife of, etc. And this doesn't even just happen in television shows or animation, it happens in real life too. Take female politicians, for example. Sometimes they're often referred to as so-and-so's husband or, so-and-so's wife. And it's just kind of things like that where you have a series like Avatar that allows these women to be who they are in their own right. Of course, even though I probably should say girl, but it's still good. Like, these young women are allowed to be who they are in themselves. Like, oh, I'm Azula the firebender and I'm Katara the waterbender. And I think that's just really important for little girls to see, that you can be who you are on your own accomplishments and achievements or your own skills. So I think that the creators of Avatar did a great job in creating these women in their own character arcs, because we need to see that more, and we need to see more positive female representation, or not even positive, but just female representation in general. We need that, where these women can be who they are in their own right with their own credentials and skills. Avatar: The Last Airbender does a great job in representing the different aspects of young women, as I've previously stated. There are multiple other strong women in the series who also have complex stories as well. So the one thing I can say is that every show should use Avatar as a catalyst for writing young women and women in general. It is rare that a show is able to portray women so well, yet Avatar does it in the best ways possible. With its affirming messages centering around mental health and female empowerment, the show stands out amongst any of its previous peers. I will also be doing an analysis and take on Legend of Korra, as the story of Legend of Korra also adds to the narrative about strong female empowerment, because the show is literally centered around a woman being the Avatar. Avatar: The Last Airbender is easily the greatest animated series of all time, but with its worldwide acclaim and multiple awards, it's not hard to see why. This show has multiple storylines that show true character development and depth, and doesn't pause at even showing some of the most darkest and political themes to children. This series can also be used as something educational when children learn about world history, specifically in middle school and high school, because I know for some schools across the world it's required that you take a world history class. So if you want to learn about different cultures into it, I think this is a great series to start at. I'm going to conclude this video by just thanking you guys for the huge support on our channel, and thank you guys for just believing in me and us as a channel and social media page. Thank you. I really appreciate it, and I just am grateful that some of you and a lot of you are seeing the vision and that we keep growing. And that's all I want to manifest, is that we keep growing over and over again. So thank you guys for all of the recent Omen analysis success. Our views have been increasing, our subscriber count has been increasing, everything is just increasing, and that's all I want to manifest. And yeah, I know we're the future. The Omen Army is the future of YouTube, okay? Omen analysis is the future of YouTube. Don't listen to anyone who might be talking negative, because at the end of the day, if we have haters, if you guys have haters, that means you're doing something right. So yeah, thank you guys so much for your support, and yeah, here, let's roll out the outro. Thank you for watching this video and supporting Omen Analysis. Make sure you subscribe to us for more content and follow us on Twitter for updates on films, TVs, and entertainment, as well as our own content. Bye!